Extra, hear all about it. This is with the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, and we have a couple of rumors that are permeating around the Ole Miss campus and the Ole Miss ecosphere right now that we want to talk about. But this is the extra version of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, this is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. We got some rumors floating around Oxford right now that we want to talk about, and those rumors would be the admittance or enrollment, depending on who you ask. There's conflicting reports out there between admittance and enrollment. Now, the reality is it doesn't really matter which one because both of them mean the same thing at this point. They just do, because your drop ad date is Monday. So you can be enrolled and withdraw from your classes at that point without actually ever going. And, it means basically the same thing. But I'm of the opinion that Ole Miss would not ask Ole Miss to do the admissions office to do extra work, and only if this was serious would this even be a possibility. And this being serious is why it became a possibility, and people have just been paying attention to the enrollment office and things like that, because it could change at any moment. Really, it could change at any moment, and because of that, just a second. There we go. Because of that, you just don't want them doing and handling wasted motion. So we are going to proceed as if this is a de facto announcement. Now, granted, like I said, admittance and enrollment doesn't mean anything. It still doesn't mean anything until they're in class after the drop ad date, or as soon as they first go to their first class. They're kind of locked in. But until they actually show up, it doesn't matter if they're enrolled or admitted. People are going to play semantic arguments, and that is fine. They can do that. They can absolutely do that. But the simplest explanation is this is over. That this is done. And they're trying to handle and get everything logistically done so they can go in and transfer in and be here for the spring semester. That is the simplest expectation for what's happening. Now, the newsbreakers and the source and the people that play the telephone game, they are looking for double and triple confirmation of whatever is actually happening. We're just a commentary site. And being so, we can tell you exactly what this means. Now, the difference between enrollment and admittance right now is nothing. Until they actually show up for a class, it is nothing. So understand that from the beginning. But the fact that they're going through this process and they've started this process is a de facto announcement, because it doesn't take long to be admitted. It doesn't take long to be enrolled. It's an application and everything that needs to happen, and it's basically right there. I got enrolled at Ole Miss in 1997, the day of. It took about an hour. This is not a horribly long process. Now, granted, I had my transcripts and everything already there, and they had to take care of all that. I'm sure they have their transcripts as well, as we talked in the trigonometry video earlier this week. So this is it. The putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours, but on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software? To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. Over 28,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/locked. Again, head to netsuite.com/locked for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer for the #1 financial system for growing business. That is netsuite.com/locked. And it's the new year, so that means New Year's resolutions. If yours is about getting fit, eating healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in your plan. Built Bar makes it easier to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good. You'll want to eat it. Unlike other protein bars that can be chalky, waxy, or taste like a chemical spill. So you want to eat healthy, but it's just so boring. By week 3, you might be thinking this just isn't worth it. Where's the chocolate? Well, Built Bars are 100% real chocolate. So here's an idea for your new year. Go to all your secret treat stashes at home, in the pantry, at the office, in the car, wherever. Throw out all the sugary, calorie-filled sweets and replace them with Built Bars. So when you're craving a treat or snack, you can reach for something that's healthy and tastes incredible. Even if you're not a huge fan of working out, you can still at least eat something that tastes good and is good for you. That way, when you enjoy a delicious Built Bar, you can almost count it as a workout. So go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off of your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. So those are the rumors that we're going over and talking about when it comes to Jaxson Dart and Ole Miss, because we've all heard them, we've all seen them online. You see semantics arguments that could mean different things, but the reality is the process would not be started if this was not well down the road. They would not waste this time. They would not waste Ole Miss's admin's time over nothing. So if they're going through the admissions process, that is as close to an announcement as you're going to get, really. Because if they've been admitted, then all of a sudden, all you have to do is hit a drop down and a switch, and it's an enrollment to send it live, because it's not overly difficult to handle. And if he's admitted, that's a de facto announcement. So I'm excited about that. And remember, Jaxson Dart is Matt Corral in 2019, period. Matt Corral in 2019. And being Matt Corral in 2019 doesn't mean he's going to become Matt Corral in 2021, but it means he has the chance. That's the important thing about this. Now, remember, Jaxson Dart is roughly 3 inches taller and 3 inches taller and 15 pounds heavier. Big time player, and it really completes this class. I've compared this class numerous times to the 2013 class. I'm not really going to count it to the 2016 class because that class fell apart because of probation, so we don't even know what that class would be like. But this class feels like the 2013 class, which is unlike many that have appeared at Ole Miss over the last couple of years. It just is. And the linchpin on that will be Jaxson Dart. The linchpin would be Zach Evans. This is going to be an offensive juggernaut team. This is going to be a team built on offense. And here's the kick. The defense is going to improve as well. Hasheem Young's a big get. Ladarius Tennyson's a big get. JJ Pegues is a big get. You've remade that defense as well. Now, Ole Miss probably needs another edge rusher. They have Tavius Robinson and they have Cedric Johnson, but they probably need to go out and get somebody like Cameron Butler. They all probably also, if they can, take in a center. And if they can get a wide receiver, they should probably do it. But other than that, they're in pretty good shape. And they've done a nice job of filling their needs and remaking the roster. Because that has been the low-key thing about this whole process with 32 initials. I told everybody that would listen, they were like, Ole Miss has a numbers crunch. It doesn't matter. Ole Miss is going to try to get to 32 because they want to remake their roster. The people that had been recruited for Wesley McGriff and Mike McIntyre and those guys that just didn't fit what we did can find a new home for themselves, and the team can get player that better fits what they do. So that is very, very exciting, very interesting, but it's they're going to get as close to 32 as possible. I don't know where they're going to finish up. They might get to 30 and save 2 spots to give to people for hard work that are walk-ons that probably deserves it. So going to be quite interesting. And now, I tell people all the time, Jaxson Dart's coming in, Michael Trigg's coming in as a bona fide tight end. If it gets final, I'm 99% sure this is done, but that's only because I'm never 100% there. I'm kind of like You hear people all the time in the Navy that say there's no such thing as a 5-0 sailor. That's kind of where I am when it comes to this. So just understand what is going on and where they are in the process, and use common sense. There's so many people that talk about common sense, about what needs to be done. But if Ole Miss is going through this process, they are well along in this process. They wouldn't be doing this for a no. It's one of those things. You wouldn't do it if you didn't already know the answer. So, yeah, I've gone over, the needs that they still have. They still have some weapons. Now, wide receiver, they're talking about wide receiver. We did sign, I think, Jalen Watkins. But there's already players. You're talking about a position that Ole Miss, didn't necessarily need help in, and that's the wide receiver room, with 4 stars and literally everywhere. So it'd be interesting to see how they develop, because the young guys, Brandon Buckhalter, J.J. Henry, and Braylon Brown, it's time for them to flash. They didn't have to last year because they didn't substitute that much. They just didn't. It was going to be Braylon Sanders, it was going to be Dontario Drummond, and it was going to be either Jonathan Mingo or Jacour Pearson or something like that because of injuries. But it's time for them to flash. I expect them to sub a little bit more this year. I expect them to be a little bit deeper. And I'm curious to see exactly how this will look. I've seen the Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin combination at FAU in 2016 and 2018 and 2019, I should say, including 2019 winning the Conference USA title. So you've seen what this offense looks like and this pairing looks like together. Now let's add in John David Baker, because he's been the passing game coordinator all along, and there's probably professional style passing concepts that they can throw in there. So I do want to thank everybody for tuning in for this. This has been the extra Jaxson Dart video. It's not done, but it's pretty done. Whether they're in admissions or enrollment, they're down the road at this point. There's always a chance in recruiting where something can go wrong. That's the reason I say I never am 100%. I'm always at maximum of 99. So thank you for watching the video. And if anything happens this weekend, it will be an extra video, because the normal show we do Monday through Friday. So it'll be an extra video if something happens this weekend, just like this one. So thank you very much, and we will see you then.